Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ's predictions video for SummerSlam 2018. The hottest party of the summer, the hottest event of the summer, however WWE is referring it to as. We got the NoDQ panel here today. First up, he is a NoDQ regular. He has been here for 15, 16 years now. Actually, yeah, 16 years. Good old JM, Jeff Meacham from NoDQ.com/Jeff. We're also being joined by a relative newcomer, but he has been a big part of the site for the past few years. He's done columns, he's done videos. He is wearing a Roman Reigns t-shirt, so get those dislikes going. Ladies and gentlemen, from NoDQ.com/Virtue, we have Virtue. And also we have our special guest today, our fourth panel member for this video. He was previously on a NoDQ panel for NXT last year. He was also a contestant on Wrestling Trivia Challenge. We have Michael, a.k.a. Coco. How's it going, Michael?
What's up, guys? Good to be back. It's been a while. Nice to see you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming back on. You were going to be there for SummerSlam in Brooklyn, correct?
I will be there. Last year I was on the NXT panel for Brooklyn, NXT Brooklyn 3. I was attending that event. And this year will be 4 years in a row, SummerSlam, Barclays. Looking forward to it.
Very nice. So you're basically doing what I was doing when SummerSlam was in LA all those years. I just kept going. I had like 6 in a row.
You have to. I mean, I have to take advantage of it. Apparently this is the last year at Barclays, but we're going to get Mania, so I will be attending that also. But, Barclays is great, small, intimate, crowd is crazy. It's a good time.
All right, so
very, very unhockey friendly though, from what I hear.
Well, I mean, I don't blame them. The Islanders are going back to Long Island shortly.
It was a temporary fix to a permanent problem because it wasn't built for hockey, that place. So
no, the ice would melt, legitimately. So
among other things that would happen, the sightlines were terrible. Sightlines for hockey are absolutely atrocious.
That's
in that
another
place.
panel for another day.
Exactly. We're not into the weeds here.
Yes, we got a lot to talk about, so let's just get right to it. We got 13 matches. The kickoff show starts at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific, and this could end up being like a 7-hour show. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be a marathon, so be ready to spend money on food. Be ready to use the bathroom. Get your bathroom breaks ready, and I'm sure we'll have some advice during this video on when to take your bathroom breaks. So let's go ahead.
I have some in mind, but I am open to suggestions as well. So.
Yes, I'm sure you will have some suggestions from myself, Jeff, and Virtue. So let's go ahead.
Yeah, if I was there, I'd be taking the bathroom break during AJ and Samoa Joe.
Whoa, here we go.
Here we go.
I have about 3 matches.
It's time to start fighting back, and I'm not holding back.
All right.
So I take it you're not going to the bathroom during Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar.
Nope, I'm going to be there, and if everyone else leaves, I'd love to move down to the front row.
I might be on my way home to beat traffic when that match comes on. So
fight forever, bro. Fight forever.
Michael, I have a question because somebody on Twitter said the people at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, a lot of them do not actually drive to the event. Can you add any insight to this?
It's easier to commute, especially getting out of there. I mean, I'm from Staten Island, so it's a little tougher for me to get there to Brooklyn. If you're from the other 4 boroughs, it's easier to take a subway. Getting out of there with your car, because I will be driving this year, very difficult. I mean, by the time you get on the open road, it's kind of smooth sailing, but it might take you 45 minutes to even get out from where the arena is. So it's difficult. If it's possible, anyone listening that's going, public transportation, absolutely. I'm kind of stuck. I really got no other choice.
Time to Dodger Stadium out here. It's easy to park inside. Once you're trying to get out of the baseball game, forget it.
That's what it is. So I might beat the traffic, and I've seen Reigns Lesnar once or twice before, so I might catch it early.
There you go.
All right, so let's start off with the first kickoff match, which is Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak. Now, there was a recent scandal with Cedric Alexander, a little bit of controversy regarding an old tweet that he had sent out several years ago that was making inappropriate jokes. And the question is, will WWE do anything about it? Alexander did go on social media and apologized for it, and I haven't really heard any kind of backlash since then. So the question is, will there be a title change? Will WWE actually change plans? Will they go in a different direction? Was the plan all along for Gulak to win the title? Who knows? But I'll ask you guys. We'll start with you, Jeff. Do you think we'll see a title change here on the kickoff?
I think Cedric's been champion long enough. 205 Live needs. If you watch 205 Live, I am a regular watcher. I didn't watch it tonight because I'm recording with you guys. But I think it needs a shakeup, and I think Gulak is the guy to shake it up. I think he's pushed for this for a long time. He's been in the hunt for many, many months, and I think that the combination of him, Kendrick, and Gallagher is primed and ready to lead the Cruiserweight division on into the next segment of 205 Live history. So I think we will see a title change on Sunday.
Interesting. Now, Virtue, I'll ask you, and maybe Jeff, you could also add something if Virtue doesn't know, but who is the next guy who's being pushed in 205 Live right now? Who would it be? Would it be a heel or would it be a babyface? I think that might be able to give us a better idea of who's going to win this match. So, Virtue, your thoughts?
I have no idea. I don't watch 205 Live. Is a Tommy on there?
Tommy's
Leo
kind of
Rush.
Leo Rush has been the guy that's been kind of in the mix as being the guy that's got the most attention from Drake Maverick. He's been a heel. He's been kind of cocky. So maybe Gulak and him can have a little bit of a tweener battle. I don't know, but people seem to like Gulak regardless of whether he's a face or a heel. So maybe we'll see Leo Rush get a shot at him for takeover in LA.
I picked Gulak too because he kind of got the bad side of things when Enzo got fired because I think that he was kind of Enzo's right-hand man, and I thought they were building for him to turn on Enzo or vice versa, maybe where he would have beat Enzo for the Cruiserweight title back then, and then everything kind of changed when Enzo got fired. So I'm going with Drew Gulak to beat Cedric Alexander, who I believe won it at Mania.
Yes.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So I think it's time. The next big event, why not?
All right, and Coco.
All right, I'm not a regular 205 Live watcher. I do read the results to keep up with everything, for moments like this. I'm a fan of Gulak. I am. Even dating back to his Enzo stuff. I thought he did very well. He stood out compared to the other cruiserweights that kind of, blended together in the mix. He had his actual own character and his own little storyline, which made him stood out. And he's getting his chance now. With that being said, I'm going to go with Cedric. I know he had the backlash with the tweet and everything. They kind of got swept under the rug real quick. He apologized immediately. There are far worse things than what he was accused of and what he was guilty of. But I'm going to go with Cedric just because I think that he has the capability of putting on better matches with the rest of the roster. Not saying Gulak's bad, but I think Cedric could go with anybody. And 205 Live is still trying to go towards that niche of being athletic and putting on a different product compared to a Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. So I'm going to go with Cedric.
And I'm going to agree with Coco on this one. I feel like there's not going to be a title change on the kickoff, even though I think the Cruiserweight match at WrestleMania was on the kickoff, but whatever. I think Cedric's going to retain, and he's going to start a feud with Leo Rush for the 205 Live Cruiserweight Championship. So 2-2 on that first match. So let's move on here.
Splitting it right.
Let's move on here to the next match, which is a mixed tag team match. Rusev Day and Lana Day versus Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega. Interesting matchup here. I think this one could go either way. I am going to lean towards Almas and Vega winning. Maybe we're going to see Aiden English come out again, try to be helpful, and there's going to be more dissension amongst the ranks. Or maybe Almas and Vega just flat out win. Who knows? But I'm going to go with the heels on this one. So, Virtue, let's start with you. Your thoughts on this one?
I'll agree with you. Almas and Zelina, I think she's exquisite and hot. They're going to win, and I don't think Rusev wins on pay-per-views. He wins on SmackDown, but on pay-per-views and or kickoff shows of them, he doesn't win. So this could be one where Vega pins Lana. That's probably how it will end. But knowing Aaron's luck, his boy Rusev will get pinned clean. Aiden English will come out and botch something for them, and they'll continue the turmoil. So that's what I'm going with. Coco.
I think they did the whole English accidentally costing Rusev and Lana matches enough. Saying that, Slam does have 3 or 4 rematches on it. So, they could always just keep pulling the same tricks. But as a whole, the card's tough tougher than usual to predict, I say. But I see Andrade and Vega winning. And I think we see an English turn. Now, I don't know if it's a turn because I guess they're kind of still heels, you know what I mean? So it's like a heel. But I think this will finally push Rusev and Lana to a full-fledged face. I think English will become like an unappreciative of what he's done for him all this time, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe align himself with Andrade and Vega, even if it's short-term. But I see English purposely costing Rusev and Lana the match.
That is a really solid prediction there, Coco,
Yep.
and I think that's a very valid point you made there. So, Jeff, are you unanimous with us?
He is right on the money as far as Aiden English. He's going to purposely cost Rusev and Lana the match. I don't know about aligning with them afterwards. Maybe it'll be like it's a temporary thing. But I honestly see the feud becoming Rusev versus Aiden English. That would give English something to do besides singing Rusev's praise. Actually, give him a solid feud to work with and push Almas and Zelina on to something bigger and better.
Wow, when Skype really messes up, Jeff, you talk even faster than usual. That's crazy.
Oh, jeez.
All right, but
Okay.
I think we got that. So everyone's going with Almas and Vega to win this match. Next up, we have the Raw Tag Team titles on the kickoff. We have the Spirit Squad 2.0 defending the titles against the Revival. Now, I think you guys know my opinion on this. I want to see the Revival win. I want to see them get a big push. Reunite American Alpha if Jordan is ready. Who knows what's going on with him, though. But I'd like to see the Revival win and bring back some credibility to the tag team division. Get that thing cooking again. However, I'm not going with that as my prediction. I think the B team's going to win just to torture me personally and maybe some of the other people watching this video. So, Coco, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on this one?
I'm not going to lie. I'm a fan of the B team. I am. Now, listen. The new theme music is crushing them. I think they kind of went overboard and overkill with it. Everything was working the way it was. They were a little goofy, half serious, but they were over. And now they went full-blown goof. Like you said, Spirit Squad 2.0. I think the theme music's being a little counterproductive. That being said, I think the Revival's going to win. I think they could have did a better job leading up to Slam of building Revival. Now, the tag team division as a whole on Raw has been lacking for the last couple months. We'll get to the match later, but you saw how Becky got into the title picture. She won week after week after week for a couple months. Now, Revival was sporadically on Raw, and when they were, sure, they had wins, but it wasn't a focus. It wasn't convincing in the viewer's eyes that Revival is ready on that championship level. I think they're kind of still viewed to the fans as almost like jobbers. Not so much jobbers, but not where they should be, especially for a Slam pay-per-view. But I think this is their chance to turn that corner. I think they're going to get fully behind them, and I'm going to go with Revival. I think the B team's run ends. I'm surprised they made it this far. I'm happy about it. But I think they had a nice little run, and I think, like you said, American Alpha probably comes back together if Jordan ever comes back, and I think this is their chance to finally get fully behind Revival.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, that is what I would like to see happen, but I'm not officially predicting it. All right.
I think it's going to, though. I think it's going to.
Virtue.
Short and sweet. The B team is going to retain. It's going to be a weird, fluky victory. They're going to have a rematch on Raw. The Revival are going to become the tag team champions on Raw. I just feel that for this one. I said it on my prediction video on another website, and I'm sticking with all my predictions because I'm going with as much logic as I can, Aaron. So, short and sweet.
Says the guy wearing the Roman Reigns t-shirt.
Logic? What do you mean? He's Vince McMahon's guy when WWE's worth $6 billion.
Anybody could be Vince's guy right now.
But you don't know.
I don't. All right, Jeff.
Nope.
I'm sticking with Virtue's pick. I firmly agree with that. I was thinking that anyway, just kind of reinforce the fact that it probably will have, because if Virtue says so, I got to stick with it, right? I honestly see them wanting to have the Revival have a bigger audience. And yeah, the network has a big audience, but Raw gets the ratings, or they should get the ratings. They don't necessarily, but they have more hardcore WWE viewers than the network does for some reason. I don't understand why. But I like to see the Revival win on Sunday, but I don't think they're going to win Sunday. I think they're going to have the B team pull it out. Like I said, some sort of fluky victory, some sort of weird thing that's going to be groaner that they're going to have to give the Revival a rematch on Raw Monday, and that's when they win the titles.
All right.
So I'm by myself here.
Yep.
You're
going with the Revival to win right on the pay-per-view.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like, now you said it after me, the whole Raw night after thing. But I think
just got a feeling like what you said. Yep.
Before they leave Brooklyn, that whole weekend, they will be champs. So
they need to stop this kickoff crap. It just needs to be SummerSlam.
I agree with that.
Yeah, right.
Remember back in the day, Jeff, they'd have 13, 14 match pay-per-views. They never called any part of it as kickoff.
Nope, it is what it is. WrestleMania 5 was like longer than should be allowed, and it was still the whole show.
It's a 6-hour show. I'm gonna be in the building for 6 hours, spending all my money. Pretty much.
Exactly, and your time, which is more important than your money.
Tough.
Good Lord.
All right, so now we are on to the main card. First up, we have Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin, the epic rematch from Extreme Rules that we all wanted to see. Jeff?
Constable Baron Corbin.
Thank you for correcting me on that. Greg Cherry's favorite wrestler, Baron Corbin. Now,
Yeah, I like.
all right, Jeff, well, let's put you on the spot first here. So Balor won the first match, and then Corbin got some heat on Raw this week. Do you think Corbin's going to get his win here, or do you think Balor's going to pick up another victory?
I think Balor's going to pick up another victory. Corbin has been drawing the heat, but that's what he's supposed to do. He's the bad guy. He's the heel. He's supposed to draw the heat and put all the pressure on the babyface to pull out the victory. And I think we've been saying it for 2 years that Balor needs another shot at glory, and maybe he'll get it, maybe he won't. But I think that Balor needs a solid victory on pay-per-view more than Corbin does, because Corbin has been kind of pushed to this secondary role as the constable. It's great for him. It's getting him TV time. It's getting him matches on TV. But the constable, the police of Raw, if you will, doesn't necessarily need to have a win on pay-per-view. We need to see Balor win on pay-per-view. So that's what I think is going to happen.
All right, Virtue?
Didn't Corbin beat Balor on Raw a couple weeks ago? I believe so.
Yes, he did, so they're one apiece.
So I'm going Balor's going to win on the 50-50 booking, or, to win the trio of matches. But this is what's unique. Balor will win to get the decision, but I just have this weird feeling, like in Big Cass fashion, after the match, Corbin's going to beat up Balor and get his heat back. But Balor, I'm going Balor with the win. Coup de grace.
Didn't they do that at Extreme Rules where Balor beat him up, or Balor beat him and then Corbin beat him up? I don't even know. I don't care about this match. I'm just going with Balor to win. Coco, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm almost agree with you guys. This is a weak match. As a whole, I'm encompassing the last 4 years of Brooklyn. This is probably the weakest card out of the last 4 years in SummerSlam, in my opinion. There's a lot of rematches, this being one of them. Now, my problem with this is, I was never a big fan of Baron Corbin. I do have to give him credit, though. The constable thing, he's doing well with it. It's giving him a lot of TV time, and he's actually doing a good job. And that's what you have to do. You have to maximize your minutes, and he's doing a great job as it. That being said, leading up to this being the third match, I think this was the perfect opportunity for them to reintroduce the Demon, which they haven't. Right. Corbin's doing the whole your small thing, blah, blah, blah. We've seen it forever, right? You could have even added the whole, that's cute. You paint your face. Oh, you get mad. What are you going to do? Paint your face, paint your body, blah, blah, blah. And reintroduce the Demon to the point where Finn gets mad enough. SummerSlam comes, lights drop, comes out with the Demon, place goes nuts. I really don't see the Demon happening. They haven't mentioned it at all. They haven't even sniffed it. So I don't see any foreshadowing. I think it's just going to be straight Finn Balor and Corbin. That being said, I'm going to go with Finn. Corbin could always get his heat back on Raw, being the constable. I don't see a beatdown after the fact, because that means this will continue, which I think this is going to be the last of it. Balor wins clean as Finn Balor and not the Demon, and I really think they dropped the ball here with the Demon opportunity, especially at SummerSlam, especially to spicing up this card that is a little weak in my opinion. But I'm officially Finn Balor clean over.
All right, well, I think there is a chance we could see the Demon. Never say never, but would not shock me if it's just regular Finn, the Fonz, Balor coming out there and doing his shtick. All right, next up, we have the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles. The Bludgeon Brothers defending against the New Day. So I would have rather seen Sheamus and Cesaro be in this spot challenging for the titles, or the Usos. Of all the teams, the New Day, they're at the bottom of my list right now. I would have rather seen Sanity in this spot. New Day's literally at the bottom for me personally. So in my opinion, I think Bludgeon Brothers should retain. However, New Day, WWE's all about them breaking records, and I think that WWE's trying to have them break the most title reigns in WWE history. Just like they recently broke Demolition's record for the longest reigning tag team champions. So I have this bad feeling New Day is going to leave Brooklyn with the tag team titles. So as much as it pains me to say this, I want Bludgeon Brothers to win, but I'm officially going with New Day to win the tag team titles. I hate predicting this. I don't want New Day to win, but I have a bad feeling about it. So, Virtue, let's start with you. Your thoughts.
Bludgeon Brothers are going to retain because, we say this all the time. In every match, we have something we'd like to see happen character-wise. And the whole show goes by, and we're lucky to see one. But we might as well keep saying it because maybe one will happen. It's time for the New Day to have turmoil. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's just going to be maybe a miscommunication, but it's time, and you can't bury the Bludgeon Brothers. They lose the titles to New Day, then what are you going to do with the Bludgeon Brothers? I guess it depends on how the match ends, but I'm going with Bludgeon Brothers, and I don't know exactly how, but there's going to be some type of turmoil that's going to start maybe where they can start doing some storyline on SmackDown with the New Day, maybe breaking up, or maybe at least two of them not seeing eye to eye with one of the other, with the third guy. That's my pick.
Yeah, that's a nice idea there, Virtue, but I have a feeling we're going to be seeing pancakes on SmackDown Live for quite a while now. Coco,
you can still see pancakes. Two of them can still do that gimmick. Maybe Big E becomes serious.
All right, Coco?
I don't think New Day's breaking up anytime soon. I just don't see it. I think they could actually have successful singles runs while still being together. I know they said that in the media before and in interviews, and I think it's possible. As far as breaking the tag team title reign amount, I think it's like 10 or something with Edge and Christian. They have a long way to go. I think it's going to be real tough. I mean, I don't know if that's the exact number. You trivia champs might know more than me. But it's a lot. So I don't know if they're ever going to get to that mark. I'm going to go with the Bludgeon Brothers. I think this was a weak build just because there's not really a lot of personal animosity between them. I agree with you, Aaron, that I would have preferred to see the Bar face the Bludgeon Brothers. I think it would have been a nice, hard-hitting, really great match. Not that New Day is going to put on a bad match with them. New Day really doesn't put on bad matches for anybody. I just, the contrast of New Day and Bludgeon Brothers works. They just really didn't work that into a storyline. I see Bludgeon Brothers winning and maybe this feud continuing for a little bit longer, but I'm going to go with a retain here.
All right, JM Jeff Meacham.
For the record, the most single tag team reigns in WWE history is the Dudley Boys with 8 as World Tag Team Champions. Plus, they also reigned as WWE Tag Team Champions. So I think they have 9 total. So
that's encompassing just under the WWE umbrella. It's 9.
Right.
How many times have New Day been tag champs?
4.
4.
Or 5, yeah.
4.
What about Edge and Christian had a lot?
Edge and Christian, I think, had 7 together, I believe.
Okay.
I believe. I could be wrong. I was there for the first one, so I should know that, right? As far as Sunday goes, I don't foresee New Day winning the tag titles yet. I think they need to keep the titles on the Bludgeon Brothers just because, like you said, Virtue, if the Bludgeon Brothers lose, where do they go from here? What do they do with a tag team that's so dominant and so forceful and so bludgeoning and brutal, and they lose to the New Day? It's like it totally kills everything they get momentum-wise.
Yeah, but this is WWE we're talking about here.
You're right.
Aaron, you're absolutely right, but there has to be some sort of logic somewhere on the show. I think this is going to be it.
I hope you guys are right. I hope I'm wrong on this. I'm just saying that
I hope
for
you
the
are
record.
too.
Yeah, I would like to win predictions, but this is the one match where I hope I'm wrong. I just have a bad feeling. All right, so I'm the one person officially going with New Day. All right.
I don't think it's all that negative if New Day wins it. Just saying.
It's not. It's not negative, but it kind of stalls the Bludgeon Brothers significantly, actually. So.
I agree with that.
Yeah, all right. Next up, we have the United States Championship. Shinsuke Nakamura defending against Jeffrey Hardy. On SmackDown this week, we saw Randy Orton hiding behind a curtain, just staring down Jeff Hardy.
Only from the waist up, too. Just saying.
Yeah, we never saw a shot of him from the waist down. So
blow the belt.
Right here, so
right here.
I have a feeling we're going to see Randy Orton interfere in this match. I think it's pretty obvious. I would be surprised if he doesn't interfere in this match. So, Coco, let's start with you. Do you think we're going to see Randy Orton, or do you think we'll just see a straight-up match? Who do you think's going over in this one?
All signs point to him interfering, and a lot of other matches also have a lot of signs. But this is the same thing that we've been seeing for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I if Randy Orton comes out and interferes, it's the same thing that we've been seeing in this particular feud for weeks. And I think that they would have to change it up some sort. I'm surprised they didn't make it a triple threat. I really am. Out of everybody on the roster, and I might be alone in saying this, I think Shinsuke is the most overrated guy in the roster. And it's a shame because I love his NXT work. And I really think he's just been a tier or maybe even 2 tiers lower on the main roster than he should be. He's not putting on the performances that we have expected and we were predicting. Jeff Hardy's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. This should be one of the matches that I'm most excited to see going to the Barclays. And to be honest with you, I'm really just not. I'm not really expecting much from it. That being said, Nakamura is the champ, and all signs would point him retaining. I almost see to cost Jeff Hardy the match and inadvertently costing Nakamura the match. And I'm going to go with Jeff Hardy becoming the new U.S. champ.
Interesting prediction there. All right, Jeff.
I would like to see Jeff Hardy get it back. I think Nakamura needs to go in a different direction, but I think Randy Orton's interference will end up costing Jeff Hardy the victory. And, like you said, Jeff Hardy's one of the most popular guys on the roster. I had a guy I knew who lives in Vegas and drove all the way to Southern California just to see Jeff Hardy on SmackDown when it was here recently in Ontario. So Jeff Hardy, he's still one of the most popular guys on the roster. There's no question about that. I just don't see WWE seeing it as a reason to put the title back on him. I think they want to go with this Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton feud, maybe carry that all the way into the next big show, which of course is Survivor Series. So maybe they'll carry that feud into the next 3 months. So I think Nakamura will retain here in Brooklyn.
All right, Virtue.
And I agree. And whether Randy gets involved or not, Nakamura is going to retain. And Coco, WWE's not designed like New Japan. First of all, they work more dates. There's going to be a lot of times where we think the matches are just throwaway and garbage. That's what WWE is. It's entertainment. They got to get to the next town. That's why we see Shinsuke Nakamura having these, for his standards, below average matches. But he's doing the WWE style. I've kind of accepted it, and I like his character as a heel, having a title belt. Him and Asuka won the Royal Rumbles, didn't get anything for it, but at least he now is settled in with a B title, so to speak. So he's definitely going to beat Jeff. Will Randy Orton be involved? Perhaps. Regarding all this stuff with Randy Orton, it's just a different time. But if it was back when I was a teen and in my 20s, God, this could be so much money for Randy Orton, all the controversy, whether it's true or not. But today, he could be in big trouble.
Shame.
Yep. Yeah, it's a different time. It's crazy.
No, I agree with that. And Aaron, before you get to your prediction, just to rebuttal Greg here, I understand the schedule. I understand it's not New Japan, but I'm just saying, as far as maximizing your minutes, right? I think Nakamura has just come a little short because they've given him plenty of opportunities. And sure, the writing didn't do him any favors in the beginning, and he's definitely far better a heel with his facial expressions and the less talking, and I do get that. But take Aiden English, for example. He took a 1-minute segment on SmackDown randomly and snowballed it into him being on every week, right? That's maximizing your minutes. Nakamura's been given the opportunities, and I feel like the audience and us have been a little disappointed with his performances. Is it all on him? Maybe not. Some of it's the writing. But I think he could have overcome it himself, and I think there's just a little bit of, something's missing there. It really, and listen, I'm half Asian. I should be the biggest fan of his out of everybody here. But he's just missing a little something, and I think they saw that, and that's why they didn't give him the WWE Championship. And I just think the whole Randy Orton costing Jeff the match is a little too predictable, and I just see a little something different happening.
Yeah. Coco, you make a great point. Go ahead, Richie. I'm sorry.
Well, English came from obscurity. Nakamura came from New Japan with a fan base and a style of match that people expected him to always deliver. The reason why he's not WWE champion or Asuka is because they can't speak English very well. That's Vince McMahon. We all know that.
It's a big hindrance, though. I don't blame
it. That's the truth. And it
but
sucks.
It's not just Vince. It's the reality, where it's an American-based company. It's tough. I get it.
There's no reason one of those two should not be top headliner right now. At least for a short term. I can't believe they didn't pull the plug on either one. They pulled the plug on both of them.
I think he's perfect on that U.S. level.
It didn't go forward with it.
Okay. All right.
But Coco makes a great point about the ability in this era to turn chicken shit into chicken salad. Nobody does that, and that's why people are suffering on the roster right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Not a problem. I feel like Nakamura will retain here. I suspect Randy Orton will interfere. I think there's going to be some sort of shenanigans, but I would not mind seeing Nakamura winning clean against Jeff Hardy just because I think Nakamura could really benefit from a clean win as champion. That's what I would like to see, but my prediction is Orton's going to interfere and Nakamura will retain. Maybe there's going to be a DQ. Maybe we'll see Jeff Hardy win by DQ, but I'll just say Nakamura wins. He'll retain the title. He'll win the match somehow. But would not shock me if Orton interferes and there's an actual DQ. Maybe Jeff Hardy has the match won, Orton jumps in and hits the RKO and Nakamura's DQ'd, something like that. In fact, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to say that happens. I'm saying Randy Orton hits the RKO. It's going to make Nakamura look bad. So I'm thinking of like the worst case annoying booking scenario. So Nakamura's going to be on the verge of losing. He's going to get hit with the Swanton Bomb, and then Orton's just going to hit the RKO for the DQ.
And just DQ finish.
Yep, so Nakamura looks weak, and we get a screw job finish on pay-per-view. That's my prediction. That sounds
if that happens.
That sounds like the WWE prediction, so that's what I'm going with.
I would like a Nakamura strong, clean win, because Jeff can take a loss. I would like that.
Absolutely. I agree with you, but
I don't think it's going to happen either.
I'm going with the WWE screwy finish where nobody gets over.
That's right. Nobody wins in this case.
Right. All right. So moving on here, we have a couple big matches here. We have Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens, and the stipulation is that if Strowman loses in any fashion, he loses the Money in the Bank contract to Owens. So this obviously is leading into the speculation about the main event, and I guess we'll talk about the main event since we know it's going to be the main event in all likelihood. We'll just talk about both of these matches now, and then we'll finish up the card. So we have Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens, and there's been all this speculation about the main event with Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. A lot of people thinking there's going to be a cash-in at the end here. So Owens and Strowman, let's talk about that first, and then we'll talk about Reigns versus Lesnar. Virtue, let's start with you. Do you think Owens is going to win the contract, yes or no?
Well, they made it very enticing because any way Braun could lose, the briefcase is Owens, right? To me, that screams they're not going to do that. And Braun, there'll be close calls. Maybe a referee will be torn to make a DQ call or something, and he doesn't. Braun still wins, and then that allows Owens to bitch and moan that the ref should have made a certain call to end the match, but he never did. So that can kind of protect Owens. So Braun is going to continue carrying the Money in the Bank or Monster in the Bank briefcase. So, but it's going to get dicey. I think a referee is going to make like a non-DQ call, and it's going to piss Owens off later. It's going to be something like that.
Something screwy. All right.
Yeah, so Owen can bitch.
Jeff Meacham?
Yeah, I kind of see that happening. It's one of those things where we've had the referees screw Owens before, so why not revisit that? We had that last year going into at SummerSlam, I believe. Wasn't Owens and AJ and Shane McMahon was refereeing, and it ended up being a screwy finish there. So wouldn't surprise me, but I firmly believe we're going to have a finish that nobody's expecting except everybody that kind of thinks about it. I think Owens wins the contract in some way and goes on to defeat Roman Reigns, cashing in after Reigns finally gets the win over Lesnar. Boom, Owens pisses on the party.
All right, Coco.
Coming into this, I thought the card was tough, and I thought in my mind there was one lock. and it was Braun Strowman. I thought that there was no way Braun was going to lose. And my little problem with the narrative leading up to this, especially on Raw, that they kept emphasizing that the cards were stacked against Braun and that, he could lose the contract because of a count-out loss, of a DQ loss. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a regular match, and those rules are in place in every match. You could lose via count-out and you could lose via DQ.
Right.
So I don't see how the cards are stacked against Braun. It's a regular match. I know they're trying to sway your opinion and slant the narrative that Braun is an underdog and there's a chance he loses. It's a regular match. These are the normal standard rules of a one-on-one match. So
well, I think I try to paint it as it's kind of like a title match in that you should only lose the title of being Mr. Money in the Bank on a pinfall submission, but because it's not a title, exactly.
Like I get that, but and
they're wrong in saying that, but that's what they're doing.
In the broad scheme of things, it's a regular match, same rules as always.
Right. Exactly.
I thought Braun was going to be the absolute lock. I think everyone's expecting some sort of cash in at the end because honestly, I don't really hate Roman as much as everyone else does, but no one wants to see Roman Brock again, and it's main eventing again, and it's just the object of a match is you rooting for one guy, and in this match, no one wants either guy to win, which is tough to close a pay-per-view with, it almost defeats the purpose. But I just changed my mind back to Braun and KO. I literally just saw something as we were discussing it. I could see KO outsmarting everybody and getting Braun purposely DQ'd by like someone attacking him during the match. And if a friend of his, unfortunately Sami Zayn's hurt, so it can't be him. But I could see someone almost attacking KO, him being DQ'd and Braun being the one screwed over. I can't believe I'm doing this. Coming in, I thought Braun was my only lock. I'm changing it. I'm going to go to KO, and I think KO is going to get the briefcase. Maybe Braun gets it back eventually, but I think KO is going to get it.
All right.
See, that's where I think if something like that happened, Coco, the ref would see it and know it was a deliberate DQ and not call the DQ.
I could see that, too. I agree with that. I could see KO trying and the ref taking his discretion and be like, no, not like that.
Right.
So that's possible. I might regret my pick, but I'm
now,
going to go with KO.
Now, here's an idea. Maybe somebody who Strowman is going to feud with next will come out there and attack Owens to purposely get Strowman disqualified. I'm just trying to think who that person could be. I'm not really sure who has history with Strowman over the past couple months who would fit into that category, but
they're lacking heels on Raw tremendously.
Are we officially going around the horn to pick the Roman and Brock match now? I know Jeff kind of already said his point.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and give my thoughts real quick, and then Virtue can give yours. What I think would make sense would be Kevin Owens somehow beating Strowman with a screw job, because I don't like the idea of Strowman cashing in Money in the Bank on an unsuspecting opponent. It's not his character. That's why we all argue he was not the right person to win the contract in the first place. So exactly. I think what makes sense is Owens wins somehow, and then Reigns beats Lesnar, and then we have the cash in. Owens cashes in. Hell in a Cell. They're already advertising it. Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, and that'll be the WWE Championship match inside Hell in a Cell. Now, Universal, whatever. That's what I think makes the most sense. Now, my prediction is going to be completely different because I think WWE just doesn't do things that make sense all that often. So, the advertisement is Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, right? I think what's going to happen is Braun Strowman.
Subject to change.
I think Braun Strowman is going to beat Kevin Owens. I think he's going to beat him. That's going to be the end of it. And then I think there's going to be no cash in. I think Roman Reigns is going to beat Brock Lesnar. Everyone's going to be pissed, and the show's going to end with Roman Reigns standing tall, and that's going to be the end of the show. And then WWE is still, get this, WWE is still going to do Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens at Hell in a Cell, even though Owens lost to Strowman at the pay-per-view, and Strowman's going to do something else in the meantime and just keep being Monster in the Bank, feuding with other people when Owens.
Oh my God!
That is my prediction.
Oh my God!
Okay.
So there we go. So, now, Virtue, go ahead and take it away.
What has Roman not been able to do since WrestleMania 31? Beat Brock Lesnar,
Brock
right?
Lesnar straight up. Yep.
This is going to be a match where whether the rumors say it's going to be cut short, I think it's going to be 10 minutes, 11 minutes. Roman will finally take all the punishment he can from Brock, but finally he'll be able to do it. He'll beat him and become the Universal Champion. He'll be spent because Brock's going to do more damage on him, like he's basically dominated the feud. Brock leaves, right, in disgust, flips off the crowd, whatever, just walks to the back. This is when Strowman's music hits. Roman still is conscious and standing there, but woozy, and he accepts, and Strowman cashes it in, and Roman, being Roman Reigns, says, let's do this, and they actually square off face to face. Nobody's incapacitated. Roman tries, but Braun overcomes it, and that's how the fans go home happy. Yes, I'm predicting Roman Reigns to become the Universal Champion, but lose it 5 minutes later. It's Braun's time, in my opinion. If they do anything but, even if Reigns walks out like Aaron suggested, I'll be somewhat disappointed. Because Braun being the champion, cashing it in, and Roman maybe chasing him, to me, that would be great. Their feud last year was awesome. Yep. I want to see more of that. Now, with the Aaron, Kevin Owens, and Roman, card subject to change. I mean, I know usually that stuff becomes pretty accurate, but we'll see. Jeff?
Well, Jeff already gave this. Coco, let me just confirm your.
Oh, yeah.
Let me just
Did you change your opinion?
I could, but I'm not.
Coco, let's just confirm your predictions for the two matches.
You know, what you said is what I thought coming in, Aaron. I thought Braun would win. I thought Braun would win. You know, KO would try his best. Braun would win. Reigns finally overcomes Lesnar. That's it. End of show. We're all waiting there for Braun to come out. Confetti. I'm standing there in the crowd, probably drunk from 5 hours of drinking, probably full from 5 hours of eating, and everyone's bitching and moaning, wow, that was it, Reigns won. That's what I really thought was going to happen. Now, WrestleMania 31, we all thought it was a foregone conclusion. Reigns was winning. Didn't win. Seth Rollins, it was great, you know, all-timer, right? WrestleMania 34, we all thought it was a foregone conclusion. Reigns was winning. That was it. Didn't happen. Brock won, clean, end the show. We're like, okay, Saudi Arabia. They're waiting for Saudi Arabia. This is it. Foreign country, less of a reaction, foregone conclusion, right? Brock won again. So I'm at the point where I really don't know. You know, I really don't know. On a side note, Brock's looking very lean since he's back in the testing pool. It looks like he lost a couple pounds, looking lean. You know, that being said, this is tough. I think everyone's expecting what Virtue said. I think everyone's expecting the Braun win, Braun cash in, everyone goes home happy. I'm leaning towards what you said, Aaron. I think Reigns wins clean, and I think he needs to win clean. I'm not the biggest Reigns fan, but I mean, if this guy loses to Brock Lesnar again, there's no recovery from this. He will forever be known as the loser to Brock. Even if he becomes champ one day, he will be like, but he never beat Brock. I really think, I mean, enough's enough. He's got to do it. As much as I don't want to, maybe I don't want to, maybe I do. It doesn't matter. I think it's what has to happen. I think Reigns needs to win clean, and I fear that Braun cashes it, and we get the whole wow, Reigns was screwed again, sympathy, I got screwed, come from behind, chasing. I think Reigns needs to win clean. I think he's gonna win clean. I don't think they should care what the Brooklyn crowd's gonna do. I think this is what needs to happen in the long haul for everything to be good. So I'm gonna go with KO winning somehow, but not cashing it in that night, or even maybe a tease cash in and he doesn't do it. Reigns scares him off, whatever. But I think Reigns wins, so I'm going with KO, even though I'm gonna regret that because Braun's gonna win clean. I'm gonna be pissed, and I'm gonna go with Roman clean and the show.
Yeah, so we're all agreeing on Reigns for this one. It's just the debate of what's gonna happen, if anything, with Money in the Bank.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Now we'll move on here, get back to the rest of the card. We still have like 5 matches to go over here. Like I said, this is a long-ass show. We've already been going for 45 minutes on this, but we'll try.
I'm so glad I'm 20 seconds from my bathroom on Sunday. Good grief.
All right, so we'll try to nip this in the bud with these last 5 matches here pretty quickly. All right.
You're good.
Next up, we have the Raw Women's Championship match. Excuse me. Alexa Bliss defending against Ronda Rousey. Now, I talked about this on NoDQ Live. I think WWE has done a very poor job of establishing Alexa Bliss as a credible champion and a real threat to Ronda Rousey. Every time Alexa tries to do something, Ronda is able to counter it, including on the go-home show. Now, the argument is, well, Alexa Bliss is only 5 feet tall, 100 pounds. Why put the title on her in the first place then? If she doesn't have the size and the strength to be champion, then don't put the title on her. But since they did it, at least try to do something to convince fans that maybe she has a chance against Ronda Rousey. Now, with that being said, is this the time for Rousey to win the title or not? That I don't know. I could see some sort of screw job again to delay Ronda Rousey's quest to becoming champion. But I think there's really no point now. I think Ronda should just win the title flat out. The Alexa Bliss thing, I think it's time to just move on here and maybe turn Nia Jax heel to face Rousey or do something. I don't know. But I feel having Rousey get screwed again, they already did it at Money in the Bank with the screw job. I think it would just be redundant. So I'm going to go with Rousey winning the title here and moving on to somebody else who I don't know. Maybe they'll come up with a good opponent for Evolution and maybe set up the 4 horsewomen versus the WWE horsewomen, the MMA horsewomen, WWE horsewomen. Who knows? So, Jeff, let's start with you. Do you think we're going to see a title change finally?
I do indeed. I think I do agree with you that they've kind of ruined Alexa's credibility as champion because Ronda's taken her out at every single turn, taken out Mickey, taken out Alicia. Not having Natty on the show Monday was kind of like it kind of threw things into the loop, but they got Ember Moon in there and it worked out really well. I think that we're going to see a title change, and I think that we're going to see Natty come back at some point, and I think they'll maybe lead into a friendly rivalry between Ronda and Natty for the championship going into Evolution, and then maybe we'll see Natty kind of go to the dark side slow but sure.
See, I like that. I like, Natalya. There's going to be a lot of sympathy for her right now with what happened with Jim Neidhart, and I like that idea, like a friendly competition match, Natalya versus Ronda Rousey at Evolution. I like that idea a lot, Jeff, and I'm stealing that. I think that's what's going to happen. So, Coco, what do you think?
I think Ronda's a star. I think
yes.
they're doing real well with her. I think she's hit it out of the park and has surpassed everyone's expectations. I disagree with you guys as far as Alexa losing credibility. I think her whole shtick is she finds a way to win in the Miz-esque, Ric Flair-esque days where, yeah, she could go in the ring, but she don't have to dominate everyone. She outsmarts everyone. I expect one of those double-jointed, cringeworthy things when Ronda's going to go for an armbar. Alexa's arm's going to look crazy. I'll look away during that part. But like you said, Aaron, I think there's no reason to delay anymore. Give Ronda the title. She's killing it. She's the biggest star in the company, honestly. And I think there's no reason to play around with the whole will they, won't they? Just give it a title. She overcomes Alicia Fox, this, that, and the other. She wins, moves on to Natalya, like you said, to an eventual Natalya heel turn once everything cools down with the passing. But yeah, I'm with you guys, Ronda.
All right, Virtue.
I think they've built Alexa Bliss up so strong since she's been on the main roster, especially since she came up kind of around the time with the 4 horsewomen. Not that they knew this moment was going to happen, but the fact that she's the champion and she's going to be basically headlining a big women's match at SummerSlam against Ronda Rousey, I call for these all the time. Ronda's going to win the title, right? Because think about that Evolution poster with the title around Rousey, and then we'll talk about the other women's match in a little bit. This is going to be a UFC squash match like Rousey used to do. Alexa's going down quick. Because Alexa will be okay. If that happened, Alexa could get off to another little feud and get her bitchy ways going, and she'll still be okay, even if she got squashed. Because it would be against Ronda Rousey, a former UFC champion. So right. I call for these all the time because I know how Vince likes to do them. Quick match.
It's got one of these matches. Sunday is going to be quick. I think they want to give Ronda a little more screen time than the overall squash. But Alexa will recover. It's easier for heels to overcome a quick loss than it is faces, and I think she'll be all right at the end of the day.
All right, Bálor.
Remember Ultimate Warrior against Honky Tonk Man.
The heels will overcome always.
Honky didn't, but that's just Honky Man. So Honky Tonk Man. So there you go.
All right. Next up, let's talk about the other SmackDown or the other women's title match, the SmackDown women's title match. Carmella defending against Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Of course, the whole storyline is that Becky beat Carmella for the title opportunity, and then Charlotte beat Carmella to be added to the match, and now there's supposed to be tension between Becky and Charlotte. Is it time for Carmella to drop the title, or is this triple threat match a way to have Carmella somehow retain the title? Initially, I was going to go with Becky Lynch because, in my opinion, she should be the champion. I think she should win it. Every time I predict Becky Lynch, she doesn't win. So I'm going to go opposite this time. I'm going to say Carmella wins, retains the title. Becky and Charlotte are going to have a falling out, and maybe we'll see a Becky Lynch heel turn at some point. I would like to see Becky win the title, though. But I'm going to predict Carmella because every time I pick Becky, she loses. So, Coco, we'll start with you. Your thoughts.
I think Charlotte needed to be added to this match. It brings the star power. It just brings the match up a level. It is SummerSlam. They need to do as much as possible. That being said, Mella is money. And, I am from Staten Island, and she's the princess from Staten Island. I know she's from Boston, really, but we're all here in kayfabe world, and she's from Staten Island. So it's going to be tough for me to go against her. I really think the crowd's going to be behind her. First of all, I think she's very underrated in the ring. I think everyone gives her a lot of crap for being bad in the ring. At the end of the day, it's not all about in-ring work. I mean, there are thousands of guys on the indie scene that could do everything that in the ring that these guys in the WWE are doing. It's not just about that. Mella's a star. She is. I like the dynamic of the Charlotte-Becky tension. I think this is one of the better built matches on the whole card. I'm going to go with Mella to retain. I think Becky heel turn eventually, but I think for Evolution, I think somehow the women's tag titles are going to be in the mix. They've been really emphasizing women's tag matches as of late on Raw and SmackDown, and I could see Sasha Bayley, Charlotte, Becky finals in that tournament for the tag titles. So I don't see the heel turn happening yet. I say Mella retains, and some sort of miscommunication with Charlotte and Becky. They look at each other. There's some tension. Nothing boils over yet, but Mella comes out on top.
All right, that's 2 for Mella. Virtue, is it going to be 3 for Mella?
So who ended Asuka's undefeated streak at WrestleMania?
That would be Charlotte.
And we kind of we're like, wow, especially with Charlotte on the big stage. I'm not betting against, and Evolution's coming up, and I know they can put the title on her another time before that event. Charlotte's winning. Like I said, look at that Evolution poster. She'll have the SmackDown Women's title. Ronda Rousey will have the Raw Women's title. And I'm picking SummerSlam being the time where they both win them. So
I can see it.
I'm going with Charlotte.
That's a really solid prediction, Jeff.
And better yet, she's going to beat Becky to win the title. So that'll give Carmella.
Gives Carmella the out.
I didn't get beat yet. So.
Nice prediction, Virtue.
Right there with Virtue. Virtue literally just took it out of my mouth. Because I was seeing the poster that Virtue made. I was seeing the poster. I was seeing Ronda Rousey, and I was seeing Shayna Baszler with the NXT title. I was seeing Charlotte with the SmackDown title. Those 3 women headlining Evolution. And those 3 women who had the credibility with the second generation with Charlotte, of course, Ronda and Shayna being the MMA background. Charlotte it's almost like she has to win because she got jobbed out of the championship with Money in the Bank being cashed in on her. She needs that championship back, and I think Becky losing the fall will set up a complete loss of mind for Becky because she finally got her opportunity, and her best friend not only stole it from her but beat her to take the title away from Becky too. So it'll send Becky off into Neverland somewhere and have the heel turn that Aaron mentioned.
Oh, poor Becky. No one's picking her. I can
steal that.
No one's picking Becky.
So that means Becky might win because
maybe
I would have picked her. Charlotte. If Charlotte didn't get in the match, I would have picked Becky.
I would pick Becky too.
I might be going on my. What was that?
I said I agree with Virtue. If Charlotte was in the match, I'd probably be picking Becky right now.
I might be going with my heart with the Mella pick because it's tough to go against Charlotte. Like a Charlotte, really, Braun, Brock.
Big match, John. Big match, Charlotte. Exactly.
It's just
exactly
the reason
that's the thing I like.
Yeah, it's a very valid point. The only reason I'm going with Carmella is because she's just been booked so badly, losing to both of them, and the idea is that the deck is stacked against her. Although the same thing is argued for Becky Lynch, so I don't know, but I'm going to stick with Carmella.
But I don't know how you guys feel, but it's going to be Charlotte Ronda closing Mania this year, right? We almost all agree on this. Like, it's going to happen.
I would love for that to happen.
I think there's a very realistic chance of that happening.
With that being said, I kind of like Virtue and Jeff's thing with the poster of Charlotte and Ronda both having the titles. But I think Charlotte doesn't hold the title. I think Charlotte wins the Women's Rumble. I think Charlotte wins the Women's Rumble and then challenges Ronda, blah, blah, blah. That's months down the line, but that's my logic for going to Lamella, so.
I just want to see that poster. That way we get that slow burn toward them headlining Mania, which would be the goal, obviously.
Champion versus champion at WrestleMania.
I like it.
And we could very well see that happen. All right, so we got a couple matches left here. We have the Intercontinental Championship match. Only a couple, Jeff. We're almost done.
Okay.
All right. We have Dolph Record Scratch Ziggler defending his IC title against Seth Rollins. Ziggler will have Drew McIntyre in his corner. And Rollins will have Dean Mother Effin' Ambrose with a brand new haircut in his corner. Yes, he is jacked.
He's jacked. Yeah. He's taking a Triple H drug test.
He's looking in the best shape of his career. So I talked about this on NoDQ Live. I would love a Seth Rollins betrayal. I would love to see Dean Ambrose turn his back on Rollins and cost him this match. That is what I want to see happen. And if it does happen, I'm giving away a free beanie to somebody that retweets what I sent out on Twitter on Tuesday. So go check it out if you haven't already. Retweet it and have a chance to win a beanie. Now, as I said before, this is what I would like to see, not what I think is going to happen. I think Rollins is going to win back the title, and I think Rollins and Ambrose are going to be buddies again, and they're going to do a bunch of tag matches with these guys, and there's going to be no turn. It's just going to be Dean Ambrose as his usual character, and there's going to be no turn. Nothing like that. So that's my prediction, but I want to see the heel turn. That's how I would book this match. So, Jeff, let's start with you. Your thoughts.
Everybody probably in this room, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I'm assuming everybody in this room and everybody watching SummerSlam that's a smart mark, whatever you want to call us these days, wants the Ambrose turn. So we're not going to get it. It's not going to happen. So I think Rollins wins the championship outright. I think we see Dean and Seth skip off into Happy Land together as a tag team, as buddies. The Shield back together, 2/3 of the Shield back together. Maybe Roman gets thrown in if he wins the championship. Maybe we have champions and Dean feels left out. Then he turns heel. Who knows? So, but I think Rollins wins the championship back. I think Rollins almost needs to win the championship back because he didn't win the championship back in the he didn't win the previous match, which was a gimmick match. It was a really good match, and this match is almost kind of like, well, it needed something gimmick wise. They have it now with Ambrose, so I think they give it back to him here.
All right, Coco.
This one's tough. Initially, this was going to be one of my bathroom break matches. I know you guys might go crazy.
Wow.
But Seth and Dolph have fought for the last 3 months every week. I thought that Iron Man match was the blow-off. I thought this was eventually leading to a tag match of Seth and Drew versus, Dolph and Drew versus Seth and Dean. Obviously, Dean wasn't cleared in time. Apparently Dean also doesn't get drug tested during rehab because he's jacked. He gained about 50 pounds. He looks good though. I think the Dean heel turn will happen. I think it's gonna happen at SummerSlam. He's the only one since they all broke off that hasn't been heel. I mean, Reign gets booed. That's a different story. But Dean hasn't been heel yet. Oh. I think Raw needs a storyline like that. I think they're gonna have Dean and Seth go off. I think Dolph retains. And then I don't know who his next challenger will be. There's a couple options. But just real quick, I think it's a travesty that Drew's not on the card in a match. Drew is a future main eventer. And real quick, I know we're running long here, but let me just run down all the guys that aren't on the card. All right, Cena Taker, no Cena Taker, right? No Asuka, no Ember Moon. You got no Orton, no Lashley, Elias, Sasha, Bayley, Bar, Usos, Jinder, Rude, Drew, Nia Jax. I mean, you could argue you can make a pay-per-view with the people that aren't on the card.
The B show. The B show.
So that shows two things. The roster's very deep. I get it, yes. But as a fan that's been going to Barclays for 4 years, I think this card's really lackluster. I really do think I'm not as excited going in. They needed the injection of Drew and Dean, which is good. I see Dolph retaining. I think Dean heel turns happens that night. I think it's too hunky dory of a in the sunset Dean came back, Seth won, blah blah blah. Where do they go from there?
Right.
I'm going with Dolph with the Dean heel turn.
And that if this was the Russo era, to throw a little reference there, I'm sure Virtue will like that. If this was the Attitude Era, the Russo era, that's what it feels like. Dean Ambrose came out and everything seems so perfect for Seth Rollins now that you get the swerve at SummerSlam, you get the heel turn, and Ambrose reveals that he blames Rollins for his injury, even if it wasn't exactly the case. He still puts the blame on Rollins, saying he was carrying the team and Rollins did not appreciate him. That would be to me, this is the perfect opportunity to do it.
Perfect time.
Well, remember. Seth was feuding with Samoa Joe at the time, and Joe injured Dean to get to Seth.
Yes. And Seth went on the probably tear of his career since Dean left, right?
Yep.
Match quality-wise. I'm not the biggest fan of Seth. The whole Falcon Arrow, superplex, Falcon Arrow, kick out, it happens every match.
Kind of lame,
But, he's still quality, and he had the tear of his career. I think this is the perfect time, and it should happen, and then Dolph and Drew go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see the heel turn. He cut his hair. He's got the beard. He looks, he's jacked. It feels like a heel turn's coming. If this was 1998, I'd say it's going to happen. We're going to get the swerve. But 2018, I think what's going to happen here is, like I said, we're going to have Rollins win the title. Tomorrow night on Raw, Rollins is going to come out for his victory speech. Ziggler and McIntyre are going to interrupt. Ambrose is going to come out. And then Kurt Angle is going to make a tag team match. First 35, 40 minutes of Raw is going to be built around those guys. Just a wild prediction I'm making.
For the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, probably. All right, Virtue.
Ziggler retains by disqualification because, first of all, Ambrose and McIntyre are going to get into it, right? It's inevitable. And somehow Ambrose is just going to go nuts and it's going to spill into the ring and he's caught doing something to Ziggler, bell rings. So I think if and when Ambrose does turn heel, it's gonna be on Raw, and it might not even be anytime soon. They're gonna build to it. So Ziggler's coming away still as the Intercontinental Champion.
All right, so you have Ziggler still champ, but
Ziggler's winning the match by disqualification because Ambrose will do something to Ziggler and the ref will catch it. Yeah. That's how all the craziness that'll probably happen outside the ring. Somehow that's what I'm calling.
Do like a slow build split between Rollins and which could happen if that would be a great WrestleMania match. So maybe they will do a slow build. Who knows? But
it could be on Raw. Maybe on Raw, Ambrose will turn heel.
I just
don't think it's going to happen at SummerSlam.
I feel like it's a stronger story if Ambrose's plan right from the moment he came back is to screw over Seth Rollins. I think that's a stronger story. But that's just my opinion. Let's move on here. Let's talk about we got 2 matches left. We're almost done here.
and the Elias concert.
Yes, because you didn't mention.
Let's do that now.
Okay, so Elias is doing a concert. I think Bobby Lashley's going to come out, and there's going to be some shenanigans.
Agreed. Okay.
I disagree.
Okay, go ahead.
It's happened for 3 weeks, right? Lashley's come out, bore. He did the whole suplex thing. 4 weeks, maybe. Yeah. They can't do it again. I think The Rock's making an appearance.
Ooh, at SummerSlam?
That's a bold prediction.
Because you're biased because you're going to be there. I get it.
I think a lot. First of all, if that happens, my friend's going to have to tell me what happened because I might faint and miss the whole segment. And I'm going to be like, what? Wait, I blacked out. What happened? But there's no way they could do a whole Lashley interruption again. They've done it every week. And it's, suplex. And Elias is obviously going to get interrupted. Unless it's Taker, which I doubt it's going to be Taker. I really, really have a hunch. That The Rock's going to come out and interrupt Elias and the place is going to implode. I honestly do.
That would be amazing. I'm sure you guys in Brooklyn would love that, but I think it's going to be Lashley. Sorry to burst your fantasy bubble there.
My hopes might be a little, my hopes are there right now, but I don't see them doing Lashley again. They literally just did it again. They do it every week. I really don't see it.
All right, Virtue, anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean, I didn't even know that was happening, to be honest with you.
I didn't either.
It's your boy, though. It's Elias.
Yeah, well, they're not giving him a compelling match feud. Like, when he had the Intercontinental title shot with Rollins, he really hasn't had much since other than his little – and actually, they take his gimmick and they make fun of it because he never gets to perform it anymore. He's getting cut off or – So I don't know. I don't know. He's going to come out. People are going to be into it. Walk with the lights, and he's going to turn on the crowd, do the heel heat, and like you said, Aaron Lashley will come out, and that'll be whatever they do after that.
We'll have a tip of the positioning of that segment, where it is on the card, if something special is going to happen.
Somebody
Also
needs
true.
to take a bathroom break. That's the bathroom break. That's pretty much the bathroom break segment. That's why all the more reason why I think it's going to be Lashley, because I think it's designed to be a bathroom break segment.
If I go to the bathroom during that segment and I hear "if you smell,"
I apologize in
as
advance.
I'm at the
I am
urinal,
shaking it loose and running like hell if I'm you, man. Like that's it.
Wait, you're going to pull Randy Orton? What?
Yes, exactly.
I just, you got to get to my seat. Just saying.
Got to get back to your seat any way possible.
Yeah, you have to run haul ass back there. I've had to do that before when something big happened. I was in the concession area. That happened once.
We've all done it at some point.
I think it's happened to all of us at one time or another. All right, so we got 2 matches left. We got a match which a lot of people are considering the most anticipated match of the card. Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. 8 years in the making, as WWE put it several times on SmackDown Live throughout the show. They had the video packages to hype up the match. This is something people have been waiting for a long time. And there's been all the speculation about Bryan. Is he leaving? I don't think he is. He's advertised for numerous events, not just one. He's advertised for SmackDown 1000. He's advertised for the Australia show. He's advertised for all sorts of different pay-per-views and events. So I think he is staying with the company. Now the question is, should Bryan win, or should The Miz win the first match of the series and have Bryan try to get his win back? So Jeff, let's start with you. How do you see this one going down?
It's going to be intense. It's going to be back and forth. I think Miz is going to carry the match as far as dominating with the beatdown for a good majority of the match. Bryan will get his big babyface comeback, but I think we're going to see the Miz take the first volley. We're going to see the Miz get the first win, and I think we'll see this carry into some sort of big blow-off gimmick style match at Survivor Series here in LA.
All right, Virtue.
The Miz does what he does best, and that's put the baby faces over clean. Daniel Bryan is going to defeat The Miz. I think this will be a pretty long match. I think Bryan likes working like 15-minute plus matches, so I think we're going to get a good solid length out of this match, and it's going to end with a submission. Miz tapping, Daniel Bryan wins.
Wow.
All right, and Coco.
This is my most anticipated match by far of the whole card. I was expecting Sasha Bailey to happen, the whole Brooklyn thing. We didn't get it. We just had an 8-month waste of storyline.
Oh, God.
But at least we have this. We have the best wrestler in the world in this match, and Daniel Bryan. So, this is going to be the best match.
Chris Jericho.
I am an admitted Miz fan, Miz fit. Miz is my favorite wrestler. He really is. I think he, is underappreciated on really how good he is. This storyline is probably the best built one out of all of them. Like, it's been natural. It's been years in the making. I think Miz wins with some shenanigans. Maurice, I don't know if she's going to be there. She just had baby. But I think somehow Miz wins with shenanigans. If it's Maurice, I think this opens up a Brie Bella comeback, blah, blah, blah. But I expect this program to go on for a while. I expect this to be the best match of the night. I expect it to be a long match. I think Miz is very underrated in between the ropes as well.
Yes.
Because he puts on a good match with everybody. I mean, he plays his heel shtick to the best he can. He's not doing all those flips and 450s or whatever, but the psychology-wise, I think him and DB are going to put on a show. I think the place is going to be rocking for it, and I'm going to go with The Miz. So,
The Miz does what all wrestlers should do today. Gimmick and character first before wrestling.
Know your
That's
role,
why,
right?
And that's why he's so over, considering he's never been the main guy, right? But he always has something that compels people because
He always has a main spot.
What comes out of his mouth and the way he presents his character.
All right, so I think this one could go either way. I could see Miz winning. I could see Bryan winning. I'm really torn between this match with these guys. I think SmackDown needs a really strong heel. I think WWE in general is lacking strong heels at this point. So because of that, I think it's better for Miz to win this and have Bryan get his win back at some point, maybe even do a trilogy with these guys. I think this feud should go on until January, until Royal Rumble season, and then maybe have Bryan win the Rumble and then face AJ Styles for the title at WrestleMania. In my opinion, that should be the WWE title match at WrestleMania, AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. But in the meantime, I think he got to get some heat on The Miz. I think he really needs it. He needs the win more than Bryan does. So I'm going to go with The Miz, but would not shock me if Bryan wins the match. I don't know. I could go either way.
It could go either way, like you said, Aaron.
So
Yes.
you just tipped your hand for the last match with the AJ Styles, huh? A little bit.
Yeah, he did. That's true.
Wait, what about AJ Styles?
Well, I'm saying you think that AJ should be the champ going into Mania, so I'm just saying you might have tipped your hand a little bit for our last match here. So.
Let's go ahead and talk about the last match then. So we have AJ Styles defending the WWE Championship against Samoa Joe. Now, there is a match being advertised for Hell in a Cell, AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Could be a Hell in a Cell match, maybe not. I would like to see, again, this is what I would like to see. I would like to see Samoa Joe win the title and have a run and be a dominant heel champion for a while. However, I feel AJ is going to stay champion at least until the Royal Rumble, maybe until WrestleMania. I think AJ, I just have this feeling he's going to break CM Punk's record as the longest WWE champion of the modern era. I think AJ is going to stay champion. I would be surprised if Joe wins, but like I said, my heart wants to see Joe win the title. I don't think it's going to happen. One would think they could have Joe win and then do the Hell in a Cell match, but I could see AJ winning clean, and then WWE still does AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe Hell in a Cell, even though AJ already beat him, because that's what WWE does. So, Coco, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on the WWE title match?
I think I wouldn't mind Joe having a run eventually, but when the timing's right. I don't think he's built up enough at the moment. He just came back. He kind of just appeared, whatever. I see AJ retaining. I see AJ having a long run. And I don't think AJ should lose the title until there's someone worthy enough to knock him off that porch. And I love Joe. I love their matches from TNA. I just don't think at this point in time, the way the storyline is going, that he is ready to take the title off him. Just like I didn't think Nakamura deserved to take the title off AJ either. I just didn't think. I think we're finally getting back to the era of where those two main titles are on the two best people in the company, on each brand, and they're not really hot-shotting it around or giving someone a run. We had that Jinder run. I might be the only one that was a Jinder fan, but he didn't deserve the title at that moment. I think he did a great job, everything considered, but he just should have been the champ. Not yet, and that was the main backlash. Everyone can't see as good as he's doing, and I think because of that, AJ is going to retain. He's the best wrestler in the world. I know I said the joke about The Miz before, but AJ's the best wrestler in the world, and I don't think anyone's worthy yet to take that from him. So I think AJ retains.
All right, Virtue.
Considering this match will not main event and go on last, AJ Styles is probably, you're right, Aaron, going to break CM Punk's record. I think there's certain things that Vince, or somebody smartens Vince McMahon up to, and I can see that one happening. AJ is on the cover of WWE 2K19, which I believe comes out in October. I think he's definitely going to have the title through then, because I could see them trying to push sales of the video game. If you buy the video game, you can redeem a kid's toy WWE Championship belt like AJ Styles has. What does Joe do the best? He gets to the big matches, but he loses them in WWE. So I could see them pull the trigger on Joe, just not yet. AJ retains. Yeah, AJ retains.
All right, Jeff. Bisham.
First of all, Aaron, do you ever think watching, let's say All-Star Weekend 2005, did we ever see this match in WWE? Like, holy cow! This is every fan that was an Impact fan that became a WWE fan. This is their big dream, right? This is their ultimate night.
I mean, even 5 years ago.
Even 5 years ago, either one of these guys being on a WWE Summerslam main event WWE Championship match, like this is amazing. When you really think about it. AJ will be the one to break CM Punk's record. I think that's almost a given. Like Virtue said, I think somebody smart been up to the fact that AJ's getting close. So let's just go ahead and have him do it. Let's have Punk erased from the history books once and for all, and have them both erased out because AJ Lee's out. Let's get Punk out of there too. Let's just make it happen. And I think that AJ will retain. It'll be probably that match, and like you said, Coco, Miz and Bryan, those will be the 2 matches of the night.
All right, so we're all going with AJ to retain the title. Poor Joe. All right, so that's it.
I like Joe, but it's what it is.
Yeah.
Joe will be fine. He's just not ready yet.
I think Dylan disagrees. Dylan wants to see Joe win the title, I think. But we're pretty much done here. We'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. I know it's late for everybody here, especially the East Coast people. All right, Michael, your plugs.
It's great to be back on with you guys. It's great to shoot the crap about wrestling with knowledgeable wrestling fans. I kind of have some wrestling guys that come with me to the events, but, I kind of shit all over their opinions. I feel like they don't know what they're talking about. That being said, I'm going to plug the Wrestling Guys podcast. We've been on a sabbatical for some time, but we're going to get back in the swing of things. There was, some real life personal issues that delayed us, but we're going to get back into it. I'm looking forward to Sunday. I will also be going to Monday Night Raw the next night. I'm missing NXT this year, and SmackDown will just be too much for me. I might even sell my Raw ticket. Those 5 hours might kick my ass on Sunday. But I'm looking forward to it. Not as much as the other ones, but it's still going to be good. I think because my expectations are low, it's going to blow my expectations, surpass them. So I think it's going to be a good time. And I look forward to be on with another panel with you guys soon.
All right. Virtue.
Follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. And all I can say is on Sunday, when Roman and Brock go on last, 2 words, fight or ever.
All right.
Jeff
Meacham.
The whole show is going to be forever, let alone the one match. We're looking at 6 hours on TV. I can imagine for you guys live. Good grief. It's going to be an all-day experience. Good Lord have mercy. NoDQ.com/Jeff. You can find me there on Twitter and Instagram. It's _Jeff Meacham for all my crazy pictures that I take throughout my travels, including I did a Disneyland exhibit on Sunday. It was really cool to see all the Disneyland stuff. It was neat. You can check it out there. Look forward to the coverage on Sunday, Aaron. For those of us that aren't able to watch on the network, we'll follow along with you on Twitter, brother.
All right.
And real quick, I'm going to do a real quick Instagram Snapchat for NoDQ.com. I'm going to do a little takeover. I'm going to post mad videos from on the site at Barclays. A lot of pictures, a lot of live behind-the-scenes takings. They will be on the site shortly after SummerSlam. I'll send them over to Aaron. Everything will be taken care of. So you can see kind of what my perspective will be once I'm there in Brooklyn. So
sounds good. So Michael will have some insight there from the arena. You can follow me at Aaron Rift, and of course, stay tuned to NoDQ.com for coverage of SummerSlam 2018. Hopefully, the show is better than our expectations.
Yes.
We will
or on
see.
paper in general?
Yes.
Better than on paper. Yes.
And on that note, we will see you all next time.